1 in 3? I can see that. The clusters of children are almost picturesque in their similarity to the diagrams. I wonder about the hunger rate. 1 in 5. How does that math work out? Take 5 kids, one is starving, and another could stand to go hungry for a few days? What about the other 3? Are they just normal? What even is normal anymore? Kids used to run home, drop their backpacks on the sidewalk, and play in the yard for hours. Some of these kids have never been away from their video games that long. Kids used to get dirty. They used to not see anything, making them different from one another. I can tell that some have begun to see the horrible, beautiful thing that is diversity. Now instead of shapes, sizes, genders, races, there are boys and girls, fat and skinny, the smart and the average, and those who will not be parted from their inner fantasy. The little ones don't see. Or do they? I want to ask, but to open their eyes to something, they can never be closed again. Strangers become villains, not simply people they don't know. They become boys and girls, and somehow too different to be the blind friends they once were. Innocence is lost. Eyes open can never be closed, forever labeled and labeling. Some already know. Archie, a 6th grade boy, a head shorter than me, boasts 185 pounds. Innocent PE games like Drag the Body, which is a relay in which one teammate rides on a bedsheet while the other pulls, become a harsh reality to some. No one can pull me, Archie says, almost proud, but I can see the sadness in his eyes, longing to join, to fit in. Don't worry, I tell him, I will help whoever is pulling you. They call me Hippo, says Paola. Why? I ask. She is beautiful, not plump at all. Because I'm so tall. Paola, 2nd grade, can now never be blind, never be blissful again. She will carry the burden of her genetics until her peers catch up with her. By then, it will be too late. The seed of self-doubt is planted. They used to not see anything except age making them different from one another, what grade they were in. Kids used to run, play, imagine worlds without end, climb trees, get dirty, sweaty. Now announcement after announcement over the PA tells them no tag, don't play in the dirt, stay away from the trees, soccer is dangerous. That is where I put my foot down. Kids need to struggle. Kids need to learn. Kids need to be rejected and learn to deal with it. Kids need to learn unconditional love by experiencing conditional love of bad friends. Kids need to know what they stand for, how far they will go. How else will they know who they are? We are creating a world of children, all made to succeed, to skip over failure instead of learning from it. We are creating a world of lost identity, like clovers in a meadow, only a few realizing just how special their 4 leaves are. Children who were scolded for showing off instead of praising them for finding what they are good at. School contributes to the problem, you know. It is the position of the National Association for Sport and Physical Education that all elementary school children should be provided with at least one daily period of recess of at least 20 minutes in length. It is their position, not policy. There is morning recess of 10 minutes and an afternoon recess of 10 minutes. Lunch gives them 35 minutes to eat, then play, usually resulting in a 15 to 20 minute recess depending on how many friends they have and how fast they eat, totaling for approximately 40 minutes a day. For an 8-hour day. They are working full-time jobs as kids. And like you, they only get a 40-minute break. Kids! If we treated kids like kids and let them have the time and energy and freedom to play and run and get messy and dirty and fail and learn, do you not think that they would be healthier? Do you not think that video games and movies would mean nothing to them? Do you not think that they would have more friends and be better prepared to be an adult in the future? My childhood was filled with parks, swimming, backyard sprinklers, stuffed animals, pets, bike rides, walking to school until we felt like our limbs were going to freeze off in the October cold, and then finally getting the reprieve of a car ride. Then missing the stomping of leaves and playing spy all the way to school. I failed a lot. I was picked on a lot. I wasn't fat, I wasn't tall, I wasn't ugly. I just played with my friends, the ones who had none. And for that, I was forced to know what I stood for, who I was. Was what I was doing right? Was it worth it to not have all the popular girls target me for the simple reason that I was being kind? These are the lessons I'm talking about. There is something in us that wants to spare the next generation from the hurt that we faced growing up. There is something that wants them to stay innocent forever. These things cannot happen, but we can teach them how we survived growing up. We can avoid robbing them of childhood with TV. I have always wanted to be a parent. I wonder about how I will raise my kids. I will hold to my views now, or will I succumb to the monster that is time? I want to make their young years rich with activity and fill their minds with creativity of the universe. I loved running around in the summer, killing dragons and protecting my siblings. I loved living room forts, hoping that our architecture would be grand enough to stay the wrath of my father when he came home to find the contents of 5 beds in his living room. I loved sleeping in the yard and pretending I was on a grand adventure, sleeping under the stars in an unknown land, and then being very, very grateful in the wee hours of the morning that a warm toilet awaited me. It is simple. Is it simple genetics? The one thing that is out of our control? The one thing we cannot hold anyone accountable for? Ah, but you protest. You see these little children larger than any child their age should be, as they run, their little legs thumping hard on the ground with the weight they are asked to bear. You wonder what their parents make for them. Ha! The thought makes you laugh. They probably don't make them anything. They only eat fast food. How else could they look like that? It is true that fat used to be a sign of wealth, used to mean you had all you ever needed and more. Now the thin are those that can afford the food that is actually good for you, and obesity is a sign of poverty. Poverty? That is the real joke, isn't it? How can children in struggling homes be fat? You see it in everyday ads, the deals, the dollar menus. Is the food industry all to blame? Is our society that is so caught up in having everything right now feeding the need for quicker, more processed meals? They think it is cheaper at the fast food places. For a child and an adult, it is approximately $10. We will save for dinner only. We will make the trip to the Golden Arches, well known for their prices on their way home from after school. It is on the way home, after all. 5 school days a week makes around $50 a week. Mr. Wally himself is, a matter of fact, cheaper. Now that you have blamed the parents, not to say it is all their fault, don't worry, I feel the same, you wonder again what their parents feed them. Do they go to the fast food joints because they are lazy? Do they go because they think it is cheaper? Do they go because they don't have the time? Is it simply metabolism? You wonder if they see that they are different, if they know why they can't keep up with the other kids. You watch and wonder if they even want to be different, if they care about their size, if they even realize there is a difference between their 2 statistically normal friends. You wonder how many health problems are lurking just under the surface. Have they struck yet? Or are they waiting for age to aid them? You wonder if most of them won't just grow out of it. You hope so. It is the solace you give yourself as you turn away, pledging that your kids won't look like that. Can you make that promise? Will you keep it?